Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Page Fights, the show where we take your landing pages and put them up against heavyweight champions of conversion rate optimization. I'm your host, Tommy is my name, and today we've got something a little different planned for you. With mobile landing pages, or with mobile traffic being reported now to be coming up in some reports about half of overtaking desktops, there we go, it seems to reason that we need to be paying more attention to mobile landing pages. We've heard this before, but it's starting to become truer and truer every day, and now we really need to take a focus on it. If you're unfamiliar with the Page Fights format, what we're going to do is have 10 landing pages submitted by you guys, critiqued by 3 of our expert judges. We have 2 hosts, 2 panelists, Oli Gardner, Peep Laja, and today we've got Craig Sullivan from he's Optimize or Die on Twitter, and we've got some really great critiques going on here today. Whoever wins, as voted on by you guys, will win a 6-month trial of Unbounce Pro 99 for absolutely free and free submission into the Conversion XL conversion course. Really great stuff here, really super knowledgeable advice that you're going to get. And let's get right into the judges and get into these pages and stop listening to me talk for a little while. First up, we have Oli Gardner, the co-founder of Unbounce. He has seen more landing pages than anybody in the history of the universe. In fact, he's been to the end of the internet and back. And he actually just had a birthday too. So, what's up, Oli?
I'm ready for some mobile action. This is me. Thanks, Tommy.
How was your trip? We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Peep Laja of Conversion XL. He has been noted as the Simon Cowell of landing page optimization. And actually, he's critiqued every landing page that's on the internet. And a lot of people are better.
I've critiqued more landing pages than anyone else. That's my new tagline.
There we go. In fact, I've actually, his toilet paper roll has landing pages, images on it, and that's really kind of gross. Next up, we have Craig Sullivan. Craig, hi, welcome to the show.
Craig, you're muted.
Oh no, Craig, you got to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Hey everyone, glad to meet you.
What's up? Craig, tell us a little bit about yourself. I need to do a better job with my intros today.
I've been optimizing sites and products now for about 15 years, and finding that the same stuff keeps cropping up. Maybe in different device formats, different products, different ways of doing things, but the same old problems are still there, just as they were when I started this work. And it's a human problem. It's us that's making this bad, and it's us that's going to get it fixed and optimized. Do I love optimizing stuff? Websites, apps, physical products, processes, people, and teams. That is my bag, and that's why I'm here today. I'm really looking forward to this. There's some very interesting landing pages lined up, and as you can see from my T-shirt, I'm already ready for those controversial statements. Designers here, this is designer bait, by the way, so don't take it personally. It's just the way I feel today.
Love it, love it. All right, you guys ready to tear some people apart and make them wish they never submitted to the show in the first place?
Let's do this.
All right, first up, we have Crystal Ball. And this is a powerful, easy-to-use vehicle tracking system. You can cut your fuel costs and increase productivity and delight for your customers for as little as 10 euros per month. Pep, why don't you kick us off on this one? Tell me what you think about Crystal Ball here.
Well, I'm not seeing into the crystal ball. I don't still understand who this is for or which problem they are solving for me. You know, and the second headline, it confuses me. Grow your business with Fleet Tracker. So if you scroll up,
yeah. Oh, hold on.
So is that another product or continuing the conversation? It seems like it's talking about something else now.
Right. Yeah.
And the images here, pretty terrible. And once you get down to the forum,
yeah, working on it.
Oh, a lot of scrolling. Look at the image. Come on. Ooh. And scrolling.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, and now you want me to type on my phone and fill out all these fields? You gotta be nuts. People don't type on the phone.
But Pep, it's a quick quote.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. You have a few days there.
Craig, tell me a little bit more. Tell me your thoughts on this page so far.
Yeah, I mean, the visual design isn't bad at first glance, but one of the problems, as Pep called out on the images, images have to be there for three things: to explain, to persuade, or to support. And these aren't doing it for me. They're not clickable either. So if you see some kind of technical diagram, you think, oh, that looks really cool. There's loads of data in there. Why don't I go and have a look at that in more detail? But none of them are clickable. They don't really. There's a problem, as Pep alluded to, in the kind of visual hierarchy of this page isn't hanging together into a narrative of what this is and why I should be, signing up for it. The form is like all mandatory fields. I mean, not only are you probably significantly cutting the amount of leads that you get on this form, but all of them are mandatory. And if you fill it in and get an error message in the form, the errors actually appear off the viewport of the page. So you can have an error message will like appear way up the page next to the field it happened on, and you're like pressing that get quote button, and it's not going to happen. So do you know what's more important to you, collecting a vast amount of information on people or actually getting some leads? And that's the trade-off you have with a form like this. Cut the fields. You can get this information on the phone. The most important thing is to get into contact you. Plus, it would be nice to know when you're going to call me back. Are you going to be like 2 minutes on this, or am I going to hear from you in 5 days' time? Some indication of what happens next. Like, I'm going to fill all this stuff out. That's my part of the transaction. Your part of the transaction is to keep it as short as possible on mobile and tell me what's going to happen. So, yeah.
Right on. Oli, you've actually talked a few times in the last few pages that we've done about having all required fields here. Maybe can you elaborate maybe on what like a multi-step process on this might look like?
Yeah, that's a tangential question.
Turn this into a multi-step process now.
I don't know. That was a very left field question.
Sorry, dude.
On here.
You know what is interesting though? Having Craig on here immediately changes my accent and I become more Scottish. So that's going to be interesting as we proceed through this. I would say back up near the top. The grow your business with Fleet Tracker. How is this going to grow my business? Being able to track cars. I don't know. That's a little bit of a weird statement. To be honest, I'd need a crystal ball to understand what the fuck this really is.
Yeah.
I do like the image though. That one right there. I disagree that it's not good because it shows a map. It shows kind of maybe there's some things going around. Some of the icons are a bit crazy.
Yeah, that is useful. I agree because it's a screenshot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's very hard on mobile to get that kind of stuff doing well, but I don't know. The thing like with seeing the icon of the gas icon, this kind of stuff, I know it's relevant, but at this point I just want to get the sense that I'm tracking, these vehicles.
Yeah. This also feels like a really long page for mobile, so... But anyways, we got to move on. We'll, if you want to vote for this, it will be Crystal Ball later on. It'll be number 1. Moving forward, we've got ideal shaped smoothie recipes. Losing weight doesn't have to taste bad. Oli, I'm going to have you start off on this one.
Yeah. I think one of the clearest things on this is actually right in the top there, the smoothie recipes. When I first looked at this, I didn't really get, the losing weight tastes bad. That was kind of weird. If you go down.
Yeah, hold on just a second. Here we go. Okay.
Okay, if you put this form in isolation, there's nothing around the form that says what's actually going on. So if you're down here, at this point, I don't really get what's going to happen when I click this button. So start blending. Well, will it blend? Am I getting a book? That's what I kind of remember from the top, but it's a little. Your form should be able to stand in isolation and describe exactly what's going to happen there. Is my phone going to go into a blender when I do this?
Oh no. All right, now tell me what you think.
My main emotion about this is no emotion. It's then like meh, like there's so many fitness, lose weight stuff out there. You really need to do something that creates an emotional response in order to cut through the noise. So this is like yet Me Too kind of a thing. And the free ebook thing on the book, it's kind of like the only time when they say it's an ebook. So if you don't really pay attention to the cover, you might actually think it's a real book because it looks like a real book. And then in this book you will find, so it might get great confusion here, as to what the actual offer is.
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. And the other part, like with these types of pages too, like Kim lost 105 pounds, but like her before and after photo here, I don't really get any sense of what she was doing.
It's so much better. Plus, Kim L looks fake.
Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, where did she lose the weight? Is it in her hair? I mean, that's the biggest difference. They're giving her a makeover. That's not trustworthy. I want to see you looking the same except thinner, not like now I've had like $500 of clothes put on me and a red hairdo and.
You've got you have a clash of styles here too. There's kind of a mix of testimonial styles. There's Lindsay, where something's being written about Lindsay, and then Kim's an actual quote. And people are very skeptical, particularly in Europe, about plucked out quotes. So if you just have one quote from someone on there, it's like, they picked that one. There isn't any additional depth of review data here to make me feel comfortable that actually these are real testimonials, that they really represent what people are saying. And sometimes if you cherry pick this kind of stuff, it can come across as you're trying to game the system to people, and that may not be your intention, but it's certainly what people will think. The start blending CTA is just hilarious, and I just find there's not enough information on here to really persuade me to do anything here, because it's a kind of negative premise. It's like, basically, you just eat stuff that tastes bad all the time, and you're going to sort that out. And I can't agree with that, because it's like saying everything you're eating right now tastes horrible, and the only way to solve that is having all these smoothies. And I'm not convinced. I don't actually see the benefit for me here. And there's a paucity of information. There's also no footer jump off, so you get to the end and there's nothing to do. Like, there's nothing to explore further content, read more stuff. And like Pep said, the free offer is pretty small at the top of the page, so it doesn't really have the impact. And yeah, it's this skeuomorphic thing of using a real book for an ebook doesn't work for me either.
Oh man, that's some great feedback, guys. So basically, bring a little bit more emotion into it, and help differentiate, from all the other weight loss products that are out there. All right, moving on. PPC Weekly. I actually kind of like this one. It's clever having the PPC ad here on the top.
You like it?
Kind of. I mean,
come on.
Kind of. I mean, it's clever. It's cute.
You've got to be kidding. There's clever, and then there's converting.
Well, yeah. If somebody doesn't quote that on the Page Fights hashtag, I'm gonna be I'll be sad. So Oli, no, perhaps you start us off this time.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, looks like a PPC ad, and probably on purpose, but it might be funny, but it's not clear, and it does not create an offer that I would like to take. And the button, join my peers, like what? Like go to the bar and have a drink, or like it's not related to the offer. What is the offer here? PPC News and Insights? I mean, come on. Nobody wants to join yet another newsletter.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, once they've got Conversion XL and unbalanced, that's pretty much, you don't need anymore.
Yeah, well, and I want to kind of, this is also like feedback from the last page too, is like, you're right, nobody wants another free ebook. Nobody wants another, like, let's talk about the benefits of what this does for you, right? PPC Weekly is a curated list of interesting and relevant content about all things PPC. So is the guys over at Hennepin, like...
But you get all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, you get triangles and circles.
All right. I mean,
And stay productive. Oh, it's a productivity newsletter. Oh, that's great. Oh, my email is safe. Great. Ooh, that was my top 4, and now I'm gonna opt in.
All right. So if you guys were to want a PPC,
don't mention spam. Please don't mention spam. Like talking about hackers on your checkout payment form, it's not a good idea. Don't introduce it. It's like Monty Python and Spanish Inquisition. Just don't say it. Okay?
Right. So my best advice here is have an actual offer. Give me an immediate satisfaction. Like I get instant gratification by getting something, not some generic PPC tips down the line.
Right, that's a very good point. And something that would be good too for these guys, I think, like a lot of the generic advice that I hear, like this type of stuff, it's because you're trying to come up with it on your own versus talking to people about what kind of PPC advice they might want to have, right? Ollie, if you were to sign up for a PPC newsletter, what type of information would you want out of that newsletter?
Something kind of a bit more sexy. PPC is pretty much one of the dullest topics on the face of the earth. So I'd want to know.
Not everyone, I guess.
I'd want to know why this is different. It is all so dry. But just going back to Craig's point, if you look at the description underneath your email is safe. Just where you are, Tommy. So yeah, no spam period. But then it says the email will only be used by PPC Weekly. You're telling me you're going to use my email. What are you going to use it for?
Wow.
It's just, it's just awful.
The one overriding problem here is it's not about what the newsletter is or the mechanic of getting it or sending it out or spam or anything else. What's it going to do for me? So I'm a small business owner. What's it going to actually do for me having this newsletter and reading it? What will it turn me into? What will the benefit be? And it's simply not covering that. That's the fundamental problem here. And the stuff that looks like an ad at the top, it's clever, but it's a load of dense, small text that people's eyes are going to slide off. And then you write into a form. And just one further thing in form, please never try and use low contrasting text. So where you use white text on a grey background, it makes it freakishly difficult to read. Particularly people over the age of 40 have real problems with that kind of low contrast stuff. So if you've got anyone in your target audience with a pulse and over about 38 years old,
that's why Ollie didn't see it.
Low contrast foreign background colours for things like text and labels. These are really important. Try doing it on your car display and you'll quickly crash, right? Don't do it on your website.
All right, we're moving on. That's fantastic.
Just one quick thing, Tommy.
Okay.
Every piece of copy on this is shit, but look at the last line of the ad. There's a testimonial that's apparently from
great.
Hands down the easy way to save time
and stay up to date.
You. Like a testimonial from me or from you. This is just garbage.
Oh, crap.
There is one thing I like on this page. Yeah, that last line, all rights reserved and other such important stuff.
Yeah, on the bottom here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I found it.
Clever, but clever doesn't always convert.
It's also 2015. Update your date at the bottom there.
Tooliers, business growth tools, tired of wasting money and energy on marketing activities that don't produce expected results.
I thought it's tool liars.
Okay. Tool liars? Two liars.
Two liar. We are liars too.
Okay. Pep, go ahead.
You lost me at the stock photo, dude. Come on. Like, who wants to see an angry, fake white dude in a suit? Like, nobody. And we serve only ideal customers. Or serve only ideal customers. Well, what does that even mean? That sounds like a command. Like, are you barking orders at me? Put an end to time wasted on reading blogs and books. So I actually have read many good books and blogs. So you're saying reading books is a waste of time? So now you're disagreeing with my worldview, and I have no interest in reading your stupid offer.
My favorite thing about this page is that it talks about the persona action plan, and it's about persona marketing, and then like this is supposed to be me as the guy.
Yeah.
Coming to this page, like.
So he's the persona of the ideal customer is some angry businessman. That's kind of weird.
Or it's setting the entirely wrong emotional context for this. It's like the classic experiment where they got people to write down like angry words and then measure their emotional level afterwards. You don't have stuff like this on there. The other thing is the rendering is broken at the top. You know, if you actually look at the top on an iPhone, that's just unforgivable. You know, you're going to have a big iPhone audience wherever you are, and you just, as soon as somebody sees stuff like that, that's like, oh, that's broken, and that's your faith and trust sort of in the page already gone. I don't really like all this kind of red error stuff further down the page as well. I mean, that's absolutely crazy because it looks like form errors. It makes me think, oh, have I broken something on the page here? Yeah, and that starting copy, the serve only ideal customers. It's my first stab at a compelling strap line, and it's just fallen into a huge gravity well that it will never escape from.
Yeah, I feel like the further I scroll down this page, the more I don't like it. Like the more it turns me off.
Superlatives. It is the only solution. The only.
Okay.
Yeah. If you go up, I mean, when it gets to the start.
Sorry.
At the start of this, before you know what this is, you know, because some people might not understand what a persona is. They explain it down below, but it looks like it's saying the personal action plan, but it's a typo. That's kind of what I got out of this before I.
Right.
Point where
I
it's
also
explaining.
personal, for sure.
Yeah, like a personal plan. It's for me. That's kind of what I was. You know.
Mm-hmm.
The one, this is a common problem on responsive sites, looking at the order of the layout, and people get this wrong. I'm not saying that this has happened here, but actually one of the most useful bits out of all the stuff on the page is probably the 1, 2, 3. Obviously, kind of rewriting it to, you know, have a headline of, well, why use this, or why use us, or why this product. But it's almost like we've put some stuff before us. This is not for you. Warning, there's a real problem here. And it's kind of the wrong way around. It's almost like if we were to flow the content down this page, we would probably have that 1, 2, 3 much higher up the page than it is currently.
I want to pick on this for a second here, just this bullet point. Effective, interactive, fun. Each action is delivered right to your inbox. That's not fun for me.
No.
Sorry. Like, things coming to my inbox is not fun for me. In fact, I have way too many like filters and stuff already. Like, no.
Print. Go stay where you were, Tommy, just for a sec. I'm just looking at copy for now. No, number 2.
Yeah.
Print worksheets and write on them.
Wow, I can't wait. Where do I sign up?
That's fun.
I've been waiting to write on something for months. Yeah.
I've been waiting.
It's a great benefit.
Does it come in it?
Oh,
right. That's not interactive. Interactive is a digital thing, kind of like I'm doing this, it's doing it back to me. That's not interactive, writing on a piece of paper.
So the whole overall copy tone is also so arrogant here. It's just a real turnoff. All in the throwing superlatives here is the quickest way to achieve maximum results. This is the quickest way to achieve maximum results. I beg to differ.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Instead of throwing around superlatives like that, be specific. Put forth specific statements. Not say that I'm the best and this is the only.
Yeah.
Making me dizzy, Tommy.
Sorry.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah, I'm going to move on. There's just one more thing I want to point out here, and this is going to be kind of a broad thing. With these landing pages, if you are able to create a mobile-specific version, not just a responsive version, but a mobile-specific version, you got to think about the context of what's going on of a person on their phone. Like, I have to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page to see a sample, and then this might, you know, download something to my phone, and then I got to deal with the PDF viewer. Like, that's really hard to do, and one of my biggest problems with mobile landing pages specifically is having to scroll 10,000 steps all the way down the page. Mm-hmm. and then going, there's a ton of text on here. There's not enough images to support what I'm looking at, and then like really just wanting to be able to like get to the next part, you know, faster. Oh, okay.
One last one on here. It really is the copy on here feels to me like megaphone marketing, where you're trying to, you know, hammer this stuff like up the customer's ass with a sledgehammer. And actually what you need to be doing is listening to people and then crafting it around the words they're using, the problem domains that they're operating in, and the solutions that they actually need. It feels to me like we're boy, are we going to tell you what we have to say here, and you're not going to then want it. So I think that's a fundamental problem.
Very good point. All right, we're moving on to Creative Circle. We actually have to speed up our critiques a little bit faster, guys. Creative Circle, hire local creatives fast, looking for best creative talent. You found it. Craig, go for it.
Yeah, I think we've jumped a little. It's premature form ejaculation here. We got the form at the top before we've actually fill out the form. You know, it's like should we go straight to it, guys? You know, and fill out the form. There are some neat touches in the form. It's got some good error handling. It wiggles when you actually get an error in it. CTAs. Some of the CTAs are very recessive here. There's a mixture of different styles. CTA copies kind of, you know, it could be a lot snappier. Like instead of let's get started, something better than the dry learn the process or request portfolios. You know, it sounds like, you know, something you would get in an old Englishman's gentleman's club. You know, it's. You know, I haven't established here by the time they're asking me to take the shot of filling this in why I should use this company over anyone else I've ever used or might use. It's just not there.
Right, and why is local good? And if you're focused on local, why aren't I seeing higher creatives in Austin, Texas, where I'm at right now? Make it localized, your page. You know, of course, why is local important? So I could chase them with a baseball bat if they, you know, mess up or...
Yeah, I do want to say though, like this, out of a lot of the value propositions that we've seen and a lot of the breakpoints for the mobile pages specifically, this is probably one of my favorites because it doesn't make you scroll all the way down the page, and it does give you hire local creatives fast. Like that does give you the value proposition right off the bat.
It's definitely
it does little to increase motivation.
I think it's the best headline so far, but when you talk about breakpoints,
localization is really, really important. I mean, you know, context and location, and location is part of context and mobile. That's one of the biggest fundamental problems I see with any mobile design is just that lack of awareness of context in which people are actually using it. You know, I think there's a lot can be done here to kind of improve that whole area. I would also be having some other contact options on here. There's not enough stuff here to give me credibility that Creative Circle actually exists. Is there a phone number? Can I have a ringback option? You know, can you like call me later? There's not enough information here for me to sort of think, you know, is this actually a real company behind this website? I'd be looking for a little bit more, particularly if it's a recruiting firm. And social proof, you know, can't we have the voice of some people that this company is already using and getting great results with that actually ties into the UVP that they're trying to get across?
And guys, who will hire a designer without seeing specific designer's portfolio? This one is, okay, send request to hire a designer. Which one? Are they any good? What have they done? Like, nothing. So I'm not going to fill out this form because of all this anxiety.
Right on. I do want to point out that these guys do have, they were actually some of the only ones that submitted some of the ads that they were doing with this. So here's one of the ads that they use. If I can get it over to this one. No, I can't get it over to the window. Of course I can't.
One thing, sorry, Tommy, to your point before about breakpoints, I disagree here. I mean, the only thing that tells me this is not just this portion, because this fits nicely into there. Is there anything more to this page? The arrow breaks the plane slightly, but other than that, there's not really an indicator that this is not just a form. I have to scroll to figure out that I need to scroll. There's nothing kind of... I'd put it, you know, look at this on a mobile device and make it clear there's more there. I'd bring up something a little bit more so you can see that I should be continuing there.
That's a good point.
Making things easy to scroll and having scroll cues is very important in mobile too. So scroll cues to obviously suggest there's stuff below is really important. But easy to scroll, I continually see this problem where you've got full width maps and other creatives inside windows. So when I start scrolling, you know, my finger eventually starts moving a map around, and I've seen this on quite a few sites recently where actually it's really, really difficult to scroll unless you can get your finger on a tiny little slice of the background, and that's just bad device testing. You know, you really need to figure out what device mix your customers are actually using on your site, and I'm in the process of writing an article about that. You should draw up that list and make sure this stuff works on the devices that your customers have in their hands when they visit your site.
That is a very, very good point.
When you try to scroll on this, the first thing you're going to do is put your finger right in the middle, which is going to activate the form field. And then you're like, I've got to cancel the keyboard, I've got to get out, I've got to find a part I can, you know, put my finger on, which is pretty much just above or below that form, and then I can only scroll a tiny bit, and yeah, that's hard to interact with.
By the way, no visual cue at all here on an iPhone 4, or sorry, on the iPhone 5 that I'm actually looking at, where this loads. I'm not actually seeing, you know, where it has the header bar in there. I'm not actually seeing any visual cues that there's anything down below. So that's something that you've got to work on. Again, this stuff can be picked up in usability testing, or there are screen replay solutions that will tell you whether people are actually interacting and scrolling further down the page. That's important to figure out.
All right, and thank you very much. I mean, that's all very good points there, guys. Moving forward, we've got Online Presskit 24/7. Which expert are you? Ollie. Pep, you're laughing. Let's start with you.
Well, yes. I can read super clearly what those bubbles say. It's so funny. I'm laughing. So I read through all this thing. Still don't get it. Start scrolling down.
Okay.
Start scrolling down.
Let's do this.
And holy shit, how much? Stop. A little bit up. More. Oh, this is the technology, the secret weapon Wasabi publicity has been using. That must be the reason why I've never heard of Wasabi publicity. Secret weapon? You can only say it's a secret weapon if you're a famous, successful brand, right? The clarity of this copy, I mean, I read actually through the whole copy. Still don't get what it is. Is it they design a press kit for me? And they guarantee some sort of fame in CNN and shit?
Not a baby.
I think they're doing construction outside of my office. Oh boy.
Do you know what those images at the top made me think of? Perhaps it's just my dirty mind, but it reminded me of those kind of soft porn life stories that they have in like some newspapers. You know, where people have affairs and stuff, and they have little quote marks and oh my god, I don't know what I'm going to tell my husband. It looks like one of those. It's absolutely awful. You're using an emulator here. See that Give Online press kit? I actually have on an iPhone 5 a rectangle that's half the height of the screen. I'm not kidding.
Can you share that? Can you put your phone up to the screen here?
Yeah, I can. There. See, that's CTA on an iPhone 5. That's not CTA. This is device compatibility 101, guys. Okay? And also, any readability stuff will tell you that if you have text that's in that sort of width of column, you're making it freakishly hard for people to read it. Pep, you deserve a freaking award for getting to the end of that page. That's for sure.
The thing that bothers me about this, especially knowing that people scan, and we're going to move on after this, is that the first three things that I see on these bullet points: Online Presskit 24/7, Online Presskit 24/7, Online Presskit 24/7, Online Presskit 24/7, guaranteed results. Like, come on, guys. Like, a lot of this stuff, if you're going to be talking about putting together a press kit on the mobile device specifically, show me a press kit. Like, that's not, I feel like that might not be too difficult, but show me an example of what this press kit might look like and how I, as a press contact, might see what you're offering as a service, and that would give me a lot more to play with on my phone. So that's my piece
And
of feedback for that.
once you reach to the very bottom, you don't know what it is, and you see the forum. They actually want you to pay money for something that you don't know what it is.
This guy's
And they
face
say,
makes me funny.
convinced yet? Like, how
Oh,
can
God.
anybody be convinced?
And it's,
With that face especially.
and is that a button, like convinced? Tommy, just go to the top quickly.
Hold on. There we go.
Now, which expert are you? They don't look like experts. and am I self-segmenting? Am I a woman or a man? Like, and you can't read that. But which expert are you? That's got nothing to do. At the top, online Presskit and the login, right? It's black, so it's connecting to the top of the phone. So I'm completely ignoring it.
Yeah.
You need a headline that actually says what this is.
All right, we're gonna move on, guys. Here we go. Weta, turn every phone call into a marketing opportunity. Ollie, kick me off.
Hi, Mom.
This is beautiful and very simple. I get it. It's a really good value prop. But hang on, look at it on the form there. Enter your email, and there's a button right in the middle. I can't. Oh yeah, you click there. Like there's nothing that looks like a form field. I would not have clicked there where you clicked, Tommy. That was you know.
It looks better on my phone. On the emulator, it looks funky. My phone, it showed correctly that field. But turn every phone call into a marketing opportunity. My friend calls me and, hey, want to buy my shit? Come on. Every phone call should not be a marketing opportunity.
I was looking at this last night, and I admit I was a little drunk. And it was saying free app exclusively for Android, and I was looking at it on an iPhone emulator. So I'm like, I'm on an iPhone. Well, I don't want an Android app, but then it was an emulator, so I'm an idiot.
The stuff that is supposed to sell you, actually, about what it is those slides that auto change every couple of seconds. So
Yeah,
that's the important stuff. But you can't see it because it fucking changes all the time.
Yeah, you have to accidentally be waiting there. Just take them out and put 4 of them, like one here, one there, one there, one there, so I can read them. If they're important, you're hiding it. You're stacking them behind each other, and
right. Plus, we see that all phone numbers are area code +91. So if I don't live in +91, which I don't know what country that even is, India, then I mean I'm not gonna be impressed because I want to see my local numbers, so I can imagine using it.
Well, I just don't get what this is. I'm guessing that it's something like some of the cool tech that I've played with, like Twilio, which is telephony integration, and that whole space is really great. But I don't get why, what this is, how it works, or the real big benefit. What benefit is going to give me? I can just put a phone number in my site. What is this doing for me? And you know, you can have all this information on the page itself. Don't try to cram it all into that tiny little carousel that nobody's ever going to read. There's no problem in having more stuff on this page. Get that stuff out clearly. So again, like some of the other pages you've looked at, we've got a fundamental problem here. If you can't get it, you're not going to buy it or express an interest in it. So, you know, it's just missing an awful lot of information for me. And adding text inside email fields, I really don't recommend it. Yes, there are some scenarios in which it can be useful and it works, but they are very rare. If you put stuff inside fields like please enter your email when it says email above, you're confusing people. It should be an empty box that looks like it needs to be filled. And I've tested this on search boxes and all manner of other stuff, and this stuff does not work well having inline hints for fields. So, you know, there are some places you can use it, but generally not. I don't think it works here.
Can you scroll up, Tommy?
A little bit, and we have to move on after this, guys.
Oh, it's okay. There was a typo in Access last night, but it looks fine. Okay.
Okay.
Looks like you were drunk instead.
This is Classroom for Business, the smartest travel booking platform.
It's so clear. Look how smart it is. Wow, I'm impressed. The intelligence here blows my mind. I already know exactly how it's helping me. Not.
Care to elaborate, Pat?
Easiest way to find a hotel for your company. I mean, Booking.com is doing a great job already finding me hotels, and we have all the hotels and B&Bs and whatever. So how is that different? Actually, the only things that are different are way at the bottom, where it's that we guarantee Wi-Fi or money back, travel expenses and invoices in one place. Those are unique differentiators. Find hotel rooms, not.
Yeah, and it's for business travel, but there's nothing at the top that says business travel other than the douchebag in the suit. But you know, that's not really. Look at the first block of copy, Tommy, just right below the guy. Let's read this. Last room is the easiest way to find an hotel. Is it supposed to an hotel? Like I'm in Montreal, so I can kind of relate to that, but that's not proper English. So. Don't make your first sentence make you look like you don't know how to write, because it's untrustworthy.
Right on. And all three of you are actually pretty avid business travelers too. So like, that's really great. I mean, as if even if we're harsh, like these guys are all your customer, could be your customer. So.
And look at this headline here. What's last room for business? I mean, yeah, you know, I know what's going to come next, but tell me what it is. Don't ask me. I don't know.
Exactly. And around the world is not what it is. You start with around the world. What?
Around the world. Yeah, the big problem for me here with this is, you know, people who are looking at things like this are not in a situation where they have no product for doing this right now. Why should I be using you rather than somebody else is a very good question. So there is some stuff in here, you know. That one thing about having all the invoices in one place is really, really useful for business travelers, so getting that out. I think what you're trying to do here is really surface things that make this uniquely appealing to me, even somebody who already has some sort of product or company that they currently use for all of these lovely reasons. You're trying to say, well, I don't want you to use that, I would like you to use us, and here is why. And there's too much that's just... in the Kano model is a basic, you know, search within more than 400,000 hotels. It's just yawn, yawn, yawn. It's like, oh, wow, you know, that's something that nobody else in the world does. You need to concentrate on the stuff that make you unique, make you different, and actually make you appealing to me. And like Pep said, you know, things like the Wi-Fi are really, really far down. I also noticed that right at the bottom in the footer, it's all kind of mangled up horribly on my browser, so there's a bit of testing needing doing there. And if you sign up on the form, it reloads the page in a really kind of scary, horrible way. So if you just press that sign up button, it will reload the page and kind of overlay it over the douchebag, so it's a douchebag form collision.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work with the emulator we're working with here, but... Yeah, I definitely see your point. I mean, from a design standpoint, I like the aesthetic mostly, but yeah, there needs to be a lot more clarity and more differentiation, right? There's a lot of competition in this space. How are you different? Moving on. Champion AC, is your heater broken? Let our star team help. Craig, kick us off on this one.
I love that one, the 5-star team. You know, maybe we should just start changing random words and sentences for iconic representation. So, if it hasn't been properly maintained, you may be left in the picture of icicle this winter. You know, please don't do things like this, because what you're doing is you're just putting a great big guillotine in the reading. If you want to get across that your team is 5 stars, and you know, nobody has a 5-star rating, you know, unless your rating average is over 5, you're not going to have 5 stars, and that just doesn't read correctly to me as well.
Well, maybe they've been rated once, right? You know, but I mean,
yeah, it's really helping me. There's more mandatory field madness as well. You know, it's a 4-field form. Just, you know, try and remove mandatory fields. I think people are going to expect that they have to fill this stuff out. Also, comment is very dry. It's like, you know, maybe ask something like, I remember Pep's thing about actually asking clients about their kind of budget. Ask some kind of qualifying question that's really, really useful to help you prioritize these potential leads and stuff. And you can't really read those kind of business trust sales under the schedule your appointment button a little bit higher up. Those are like really, really blurry on there. You know, and there's only one review on there, a really, really long review by one person, and you know, I kind of need to know why this company, why use you guys rather than someone else, and you know, I'm not kind of getting that. That's all my stuff there, I would say.
There's it's kind of a mixed kind of message here. I mean, at the top it's about your heater being broken. This is an urgent problem. Like, if I'm in a cold place and my heater's broken, it's like, I need to know that you're going to come and fix that right now.
Right now, yeah.
And there's two things. So there's that, but then if you go down, it starts getting into new energy efficient heaters and furnaces. It's sales. It's like, we have things to sell you, which is, you know, are you fixing stuff or are you selling to me? If you have things, maybe have an ad for fixing and have, you know, and have a page, an ad and a page for the sales side. Don't.
Yeah, well, what's the ad that brings people here? Like, you're setting the context, you know. Heater broken, don't sell me a new AC system, you know. Or
and the review. I mean, come on. My husband and I knew we were going to need a new furnace. We thought we could wait until next year.
That's it. That testimonial is 100% fake. It's also the name Kate Williams. Nobody's named Kate Williams. That's a typical fake name. You know.
I hope there's a Kate Williams watching. If there is, tweet at us.
We know what you're up.
You do a lot of reviews, Kate. We love that. All right, we're going to be moving on. I would love to see at least an image from a testimonial, even if it's going to be fake, and you know, maybe on your comments, tell me what my problem is.
The form says schedule, but there's no scheduling, no date, no time. How is it scheduling?
One other last one on here. If you're going to be advertising in a way that's like emergency heating repair, and then they see an ad and land on this page, you really need to make that phone number call to action a lot better. At the moment, it's an underlined phone number. You can have an iconic representation of a phone, the phone number on top of a kind of CTA button, and do it that way. That, for me, would work an awful lot better than an underlined phone number. It doesn't actually really grab me and say, like, call us now.
Or you could even have this be a click to call and just skip the form altogether. So we've got one last page coming up here. And this is Impact, the Impact Conversion Collection. Impact, you guys have actually submitted more than one landing page to us in the past. So I think you really just want to be on the show.
Well, interestingly, Tommy, they are going to be on the show because John Bonini from Impact is our next guest or the next after that. So.
Well, that's cheating. Anyways. All right, guys. I mean, if he's going to be a judge, then he knows what's coming for him. Rip it apart.
This first, I mean, you're seeing a bit. No, this first screen doesn't tell me what this is. It's a collection. Well, what is it a collection of? It's 4 ebooks, but put that on the first screen. Let me know immediately. This is a collection of 4 ebooks. I'm like, okay, this is about ebooks. Fine, I'll continue down. This
That's what these icons are.
Well, that doesn't look like a fucking book. That's an email. That's a radio. That's I don't know what that. But this emulator is not showing you something because in a phone normally, my phone is totally destroyed. You're gonna get the bar at the top when you first get there, right? So you're actually seeing less than this. So on my phone, I don't even get below the computer, so that subhead's not even being seen. So you really got to make it clear at the top.
Okay.
And also the name, the Impact Conversion Collection. Well, if I've never heard of this company, which is true for me, then why would that impress me? You know, like it's a stupid thing to say, unless you're a brand, you know. So if you're not a brand, be specific about the actual offer. So that's for above the fold. Now, if we get into the copy is just fucking amateur and terrible. You know, you read this, it's just about every marketer wants to improve conversions. And listen to this. See what it says. improving conversion rate usually involves pumping out more content. Is that a fact? I've been doing it wrong the whole time.
I never knew that. That's where I've been going wrong.
Oh, shoot.
It's kind of a bait and switch as well. Like if I get to the button here and it's saying download all of them. There's also downloads for each one individually. So I'm like, oh, I'm a bit panicked here because like this is multiple. This is multiple PDFs.
Like, now I have to choose and compare and like which one do I want? No, don't do it. Just offer the one stupid download.
I'm not downloading ebooks to my phone.
Oh, and guys, did you see the form?
Yeah.
Click on get the book.
Yeah, it's massive.
Nobody will ever download this stupid book about pumping out more content.
All right, guys, we are wrapping up here. This is the last page, so if you've been watching on the Page Fights hashtag, you will have been able to follow along. We've got Impact at number 10. There we go. The Champion AC at number 9. Last Room for Business at number 8. Weta at number 7. Online Presskit 24/7 at 6. Creative Circle at 5. You've got these guys over here, Marketing Lens, yeah, right here. There we go. Spoilers at number 4, PPC Weekly at 3, Ideal Shape at 2, and Crystal Ball at 1. We are going to be moving on to a Q&A session, so if you have any questions for our judges, please let us know, and I will get us along here. Peter Kruger actually says, do you really think scroll cues are necessary? I'm not sure I agree. For example, and then he gives an example at iampatty.com/lifebelow600. I don't think we're going to be able to take a look at that page, but Pep, tell me, do you think page scrolls or scroll cues are really necessary?
Oh, absolutely. It just all depends on the actual design of the page. If your design from ground up is created in a way that encourages scrolling down, you will need less arrows and shit. But so it's very specific. But yes, you need to be always showing that there's something more down there. You need to be engaging. The copy matters a lot. So it's an easy test. If you put scroll depth tracking on a page, and then create an alternative version where you really optimize for facilitating scrolling, and you put scroll tracking, depth tracking on that too, you'll see it works.
Just a quick correction. I said John Bonini is our next guest on here. He's actually next guest on our next webinar. So.
Okay.
Scroll cues are definitely needed. I think the major problem is that people forget that the scroll cues that you need will be different depending on the device viewport you're looking at. So you need to immerse yourself completely in the world of the handset mix that your customers have, so you can see how your product looks through their viewport, not the one that you have in your fucking office connected to the Wi-Fi connection. Another point. So it's really, really important to see how this works. And yes, you do need scroll cues around the fold, but there are ways of doing it that aren't, super obvious and super device specific. You get this in a newspaper. You know to turn the newspaper over because you can see the text flowing over the break line of where you folded the page. And there are many subtle cues that can be given to people that will work really well. The problem happens for everybody when you have a block of solid color or white space that is there just at the fold of the page. And if you have nothing there at all apart from a block of solid color with no text on it or nothing broken or solid white space, then people will miss that they can scroll, guaranteed.
Great point. Great point. And something else too is like we're looking at a lot of these on emulators. Craig, you actually had some really great suggestions. I'm going to bring my screen back up here. Emulators might not always be the best way to go for that type of testing, right? So tell me a little bit about some of the services you were talking about.
There are two really good services that I've been using. One of them is made by Keynote, and it's called Device Anywhere. These guys have a whole bunch of mobile phones, tablets on actually connected to commercial phone networks, and they stick them in racks all around the country, in the US and all around Europe and all around the world. So if I want to rent an Android device in Switzerland and install an app there and connect it to the internet and test my site with it, I can rent it by the hour and remote control that device. So I'm actually seeing the real screen of the real device. It is not an emulator, and it's actually running on, a commercial phone network. So if what I want, I did this the other day and showed somebody, I rented a phone in San Jose, an iPhone 5, and I pulled it up, it's GPS, and there it was, and it was showing exactly where it was in downtown San Jose. So if you want to install things on another country's app store, if you want to see how your device renders, how your site renders on a device that a customer has complained it looks wrong on, then you can actually go and use this to do some testing. Now, it isn't super cheap, but it has been very useful for me, and a lot of my clients use this service. There is another one that's actually a little bit cheaper, Tommy, which is AppThwack, and for I think starting at $20 a month, you can get limited access to a huge bunch of devices, and it works in a similar way. Again, you're remote controlling a real device. There is also a third one that's worth using, and you can look up if there's one of these in your area. What people do is they donate their old phone hardware to these things called Open Device Labs, and you can take your app or your website and visit an Open Device Lab that may be in a city near you, and these guys will, for free, let you test heaps of stuff in their lab. So, testing on real devices doesn't have to be expensive, and drawing up a list of what your customers actually have is probably one of the most important things that you would do this year, because what you really need to do is start testing your shit with what they've got, right? Everybody goes, we've got a load of iPhone people. No, you don't. You've got a load of iPhone people and then a humongous amount of different sized screens on Android, and you need to test the big ones there. Most people don't actually know what their customer device mix is like, and that's the first step. The second step is actually finding a testing service or buying the handsets or going to an Open Device Lab. Either way, doesn't matter what tool you're using, you have to test this stuff. If you assume it works, then you deserve everything you get.
Yeah. And Pep, it's relatively easy to figure out what devices people are using, correct?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, can you tell us, maybe give me a clue on what report I should be looking at in Google Analytics there to figure that out?
Well, Google Analytics is built-in segments for mobile, tablet, desktop, device categories, and also under the audience report, if you go to technology, browser, you go to mobile and devices, you can just see which devices people come on and so on. But word of caution, if you're going to look at performance and behavior across a specific device, make sure that the sample size is going to be big enough. We're talking 500 transactions, 300 transactions, something like this. You can't make any conclusions if somebody came with, let's say, Galaxy S4 and there are like 4 people who did something. Like, you can't make any conclusions based on such a tiny sample size.
Right on, right on. Eric Walks actually had said, got to vote for, or he was talking, not that, I'm reading the wrong tweet here. He was talking about one of the pages before where it said it was the last business, the hotel booking. He was saying you got to watch the video in order to understand the value proposition correctly. We've talked a little bit about that before. Pep, I know you've got a lot to say on that.
Well, in a nutshell, most people are not going to watch the video. So then what? So that means that your written copy also has to assume that probably they didn't watch the video. So if you assume they watched it, you're assuming too much.
Yeah, and find out whether they're watching it. Put event tracking into Google Analytics. It shows you when people interact with the video controls, including the most important one, that they play it. And then you can actually work out, is the video played? Does it have any positive outcome when people play the video? And the answers to those questions are kind of fundamental to what you do with that page.
And use something like Wistia, where you're going to have some data on how far they get through the video as well.
Right on. Guys, I just want to also hold on a second here. I want to make sure that we emphasize that voting is happening right now. If you want to vote on your favorite landing page, you can do so by clicking on the link below. There's one more thing I want to bring up here, and this is actually really important. Chicago Bass Ensemble said, however, some of PageFight's judging is focused on the product/service, not the design, and by focusing, I mean making fun of. And I kind of want to address this from a two-pronged approach. One, yes, PageFights is it is a brutal show. That's the whole intent of the show. But when we're talking about products and services, that's a big part of marketing too, guys. And if your product isn't something that people want, it's really hard to take it to the next step. So, Oli, kind of talk a little bit about that a little bit more, if you can.
Well, design is very important, and people kind of sometimes ignore it in conversion circles, but it's kind of secondary. Clarity is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't understand it or they don't see the value in it, they're not going to get to the point where they really care about enjoying the experience visually. Obviously, you know, that one with the two people at the top, that was visually offensive. So, you know, and the Impact one, that was a beautiful landing page visually. So, knowing a bit about them, you know, I would kind of trust them a little more, because it's a very, you know, visually high quality page that, you know, clarity is the first thing that matters.
Imagine there was a matrix here, and the matrix was gets the product, likes the design, doesn't get the product, doesn't like the design. Put those permutations together and see which one will actually drive revenue for your business. So it's great if people come, totally don't get your product. They will not be saying next week, oh, it was really cool last week. I found this website that I totally couldn't understand, but it looked really nice. You know, they had some nice colors on there and stuff. You know, it's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs here. There are a basic set of things that have to be in place for that wonderful design to have the positive effect you're hoping for, because people who come and like your site design but don't actually buy from you, well, you don't really have a business there. So it's great. You can pat yourself on the back, say, oh, it looks really cool, but hey, no one's buying from us, but that doesn't really matter. The two go together and they have to be aligned. And yes, the design can give an awful lot of credibility to a page, but it works in concert with the clarity and simplicity and comprehension that needs to go on. If those other things aren't there, then it's pretty but useless.
Very good point. Very good point. And Pep, you've talked a lot about value proposition in the past. So, I mean, can you just kind of drill into that just a little bit more?
A value proposition is a promise of value delivered. The bigger, the better the promise, the more likely I am to take you up on your offer. So, offer is more important than design.
Just to clarify, good point, Pep. But people, you need to be voting for your favorite, the page you think is the best, not the one you think is the worst.
All right, excellent. Let's see. Well, let's see. So yes, James was asking for it, voting for the worst or the best. Okay.
Voting is closed.
Voting is closed. All right, so we are going to be waiting for the results now of what's going on here. Someone was actually asking, do we have a top 5 hints that we can give to some of these landing pages?
Watch the recording and listen to it.
All right. Well, we do have our top 3 now. We have our finalists. We have a winner, which is great. In third place, we have Crystal Ball, which is awesome. Congratulations, guys. In third place, we have Last Room, and in first place, and let me just bring them up here if you guys are excited about this, right? A little drum roll, please. We have Creative Circle. Congratulations, guys. You have won 6 months of Unbounce Pro 99 for free and access to the Conversion XL conversion course. So now you can hear Pep talk about all sorts of fun stuff that will help you increase your conversion rates and really clarify on your offer. We do have another show coming up next month. It's the second Friday of the month. If you are interested in signing up, you can do so at pagefights.com. And thanks so much for watching, guys. February 6th, it's the first Friday. I'm sadly mistaken. Sign up at pagefights.com and you can catch the replay as well as get some extra stuff that we have going on. And who is our guest for the next episode? We have Damian Farnsworth, who is one of the copywriters over at Copyblogger. I'm really excited for that because he's actually a super fun guy. So thanks so much, guys, and hope to see you again next month.